So Portland, Oregon has a lot to offer. Amazing food, stunning outdoor spaces, and a unique culture. However, there are some neighborhoods where crime, specifically car theft, is an issue. And today I'm revealing the top 10 neighborhoods with the most car crime in 2024. Now, before you write off Portland completely, there is some good news. Overall, crime in the city declined significantly versus the previous year. And in this video, I'll show you just not where the risks are, but also how to stay safe and find the right neighborhood for you. So hello, I'm David Backholer. I'm a real estate broker and I specialize in helping people relocate to the Portland metro area. Now, if you're new to my channel, welcome along. Every week I release videos showcasing different neighborhoods, towns, and provide real estate tips to help you find the perfect place to call home. Now, if you have any questions about moving to the area, please feel free to reach out. I'd certainly love to help you find your dream home here. Okay, so on to the topic of today's video. Earlier in the month, the Portland Police Bureau released their updated crime stats for the city on the reported crime. So in this video, I want to cover the areas that had the highest car theft across the city. Now, these of course are official figures and will only include reported crime numbers. However, before we talk about the top 10 neighborhoods with the highest car theft, let's start off with a big picture view of Portland's crime trends. Overall, the good news is that crime here isn't getting worse, it's actually improving in a lot of ways. Violent crime, including homicides, dropped by nearly 25% compared to the previous year. This is certainly a sign that Portland is making progress in safety efforts, particularly in areas like downtown, and like many downtowns across the country, have taken their time to recover from the impact of COVID. Now, moving on to the topic of car theft. In 2024, there's approximately 5,500 reported car thefts, and that works out to around 15 thefts per day. However, this is a 50% reduction in car thefts from the previous year, and a decrease of around 3,000. So now you know that things are improving, let's talk about neighborhoods which had the highest car theft crime last year. So coming in at number 10 is the Sunderland neighborhood in Northeast Portland. Now, this is a neighborhood that's adjacent to the Portland International Airport. And there's actually very few homes in this area. It's actually largely an industrial location with various distribution centers and warehouses, and this is kind of what you'd expect being so close to the airport. There's also some floating homes in this neighborhood as it's located on the Columbia River. Okay, so coming in at number 9 is the Lloyd district with 157 car thefts in 2024. That's actually just one more than the Sunderland neighborhood had. Again, the Lloyd district is not really a residential neighborhood. The Lloyd district is a commercial hub home to the Lloyd Center Mall. There's hotels, office buildings, and this tends to be one of those neighborhoods you actually end up driving through rather than spending a lot of time here. It borders Highway 5 and Highway 84. And the Lloyd Center is a large shopping center in the center of the Lloyd district. However, there's been ongoing discussions for many years now about redeveloping the space, as the mall has mostly been abandoned by many of the larger retailers. Now, because of the central location of the Lloyd district, you have to feel that this is a prime redevelopment area, especially being so close to downtown and as some of the more desirable neighbors in Northeast Portland. But for now, there isn't really much in the way of residential areas in the Lloyd district for you to consider. Okay, so moving on to number 8 on our list, and this is the Mill Park neighborhood in the outer southeast section of Portland. There's 158 reported car thefts in this neighborhood last year, and it's similar to the previous neighborhoods we've talked about. However, the big difference between this neighborhood is that it's largely a residential neighborhood. Now, one reason this area might be so high up on our list is that it's so close to Highway 205, and we'll talk a little bit more about this area later in the video, as there's some nearby neighborhoods that had even higher rates of car crime. Okay, so now let's continue our countdown and talk about the 7th highest neighborhood of car theft, and this is the Old Town Chinatown area in northwest Portland. Now, this area had 159 car thefts last year, and again it makes it similar to the other neighborhoods we've talked about so far. This works out to be around 3 thefts per week. Now, as we bring up our map, I have a few thoughts on why this area is so high. Firstly, this is an area that is still struggling to recover from the impact of COVID. Open air drug usage and homelessness really impacted this area, and a lot of people stayed away and they're still struggling to come back. Now, you'll see that this is an area where the Portland Union Station is located. This is where you can take the Amtrak up to places like Seattle and then Vancouver in Canada, as well as several long distance bus routes that go from this location too. Now, it could be that people are parking their vehicles for an extended period of time when they travel out of town, and that leads to their vehicles being targeted. In terms of what you'll find in this neighborhood, well, it's almost all high-rise buildings. There's commercial on the main level and then offices or residential above. Okay, so the countdown continues, and now let's look at the neighborhood with the 6th highest rate of car theft. And this is the Glen Fair neighborhood, and this is very far out to the east. In fact, this neighborhood is one of the furthest eastern neighborhoods in Portland, and it neighbors the city of Gresham. So again, as we bring up the map, you'll see that this neighborhood is in both northeast and southeast Portland, and East Burnside, which separates the two, splits this neighborhood in half. East Burnside is a through street, and you'll see that the streetcar also runs through this neighborhood too, so commuting into other parts of Portland is actually very convenient. Now, this neighborhood is also pretty close to the Mill Park neighborhood, and that was on our number 8 spot on our list. There's also this area between the 205 and Gresham. This does have that higher crime rate. Now, in terms of what you can expect from housing here, it's a residential neighborhood, and you will find homes to be a lot more affordable here than other parts of the city. Okay, so we're now halfway through our list, and before we take a look at the top 5, I did want to remind you that every week I release new videos on what it's like to live in the Portland metro area, including neighborhood and city tours, and also offer you advice to ensure you don't end up in the wrong neighborhood. So with that in mind, please do consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this. And also do keep in mind that I am a real estate broker based here in Portland, Oregon, so do reach out if you're thinking about making a move to the area. Okay, so now let's get back to our countdown and talk about the neighborhood which has the 5th highest car theft in 2024, and that's Montevilla. Now, I have to be honest, I was surprised to see Montevilla so high up on the list. Montevilla is a trendy neighborhood, home to cool coffee shops, a historical theatre, a lively food scene, and there's also a fairly large farmers market here at the weekends too. It's near the Mount Tabor neighborhood, which is also very desirable, especially taking a walk through Mount Tabor Park. This is a good example of why the crime stats don't always tell the full story. While car thefts are higher in the Montevilla neighborhood, it still remains a fairly desirable neighborhood for many buyers due to its central location and charm. However, once again, one of the reasons why this area is perhaps high up on that list is that it's close in proximity to Highway 205, which does seem to have problems surrounding the area. In number 4 on our list is the Centennial neighborhood, and again, if I bring up the map, you'll start to see a bit of a pattern here. This neighborhood is again on the very eastern edge of the city, right next door to Gresham, and then immediately to the north of the Centennial is Glenfair, and immediately to the west is Mill Park. These two neighborhoods we've already covered in our top 10. So you could certainly make the assumption that this part of Portland does have a higher crime rate than other parts of the city. Now, this neighborhood has a mix of apartments and single family homes, and again, prices here are more affordable than other parts of the city. And generally, the further east you go, the more affordable home prices tend to be. Okay, so we're now into our top 3, and next up is the neighborhood of Lentz, also in southeast Portland. This is another neighborhood that neighbors the 205. Now, I've actually featured Lents on my channel in the past, and there are parts of it that are quite desirable. Lents Park is a large, attractive park, and it's home to the Portland Pickles. This is a local baseball team which features in the West Coast League. Now, overall, Lents is mostly a residential neighborhood and a mix of single family homes and condos, and I would describe it as a bit of an up-and-coming neighborhood. It's been undergoing a revitalization with new businesses and community projects over the years, but it shows with car theft quite high here, there's still some distance to go. Okay, so moving on to our second highest neighborhood for car theft, and that's the Powhurst-Gilbert neighborhood, again out in southeast Portland. And considering this neighborhood is surrounded by Lents, Mill Park, Centennial, all neighborhoods we've already featured in this video, it's probably no surprise to see this neighborhood so high up on the list. Now, homes in this area, they're going to be a little smaller and more affordable than some of the neighborhoods further west. So for those of you who are looking for a more affordable neighborhood, these high car theft rates are something for you to keep in mind. Now, homes do tend to be a little smaller. Many homes are going to lack garages or gated parking, and that probably relates to why cars are often parked on the streets, making them easier targets for thieves. Okay, so the neighborhood with the highest rate of car theft is the Hazelwood neighborhood, again located out in East Portland. Now, this neighborhood is surrounded by Montevilla, Mill Park, Glenfair, Centennial and Powhurst-Gilbert, all neighborhoods we've featured high up on our list, so it seems like this is the epicenter for the issues. And in 2024, Hazelwood had reported 272 reported car thefts, and that sees more stolen vehicles than any other neighborhood in the city. This works out to be somewhere around 5 a week. Hazelwood is a mix of suburban and urban. It features shopping centres like Mall 205 and parks like the Gateway Discovery Park. It's also close to the Max Light rail stations, so it's a transit-friendly area, but unfortunately, high theft rates often go hand in hand with areas where cars are left parked in transit lines overnight. Now, moving topics slightly, it's important for me to mention that I'm not saying to completely rule out these areas. But keep in mind that in some of these areas, especially out in the East Portland, east of the 205 near Gresham, crime is higher here than other areas in the city. These areas are a lot more affordable than other parts of the city, so there's definitely some benefits for living here too, and there are some things you can do to reduce the risks and protect yourself. This includes simple things like keeping your car locked and taking your keys with you, parking it in well-lit areas or inside a garage if possible, using a steering wheel lock, kill switch or a GPS tracker. Avoid leaving your valuables obviously in your car, especially at night. And also consider comprehensive car insurance that covers you in the result of a theft. Okay, so hopefully you found this information useful and insightful too. If you are considering moving to the Portland metro area and you need help finding the right neighborhood, let's chat. I am a real estate broker and I do help people buy, sell and relocate here every single day. And you can call, text or email me anytime you like. I love to help you find your dream home in the right neighborhood for you. Until next time though, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you've not done so already. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.